All right, so I'm going to try and explain subnetting just sort of briefly. I'll do a few examples, then you'll have a few assignments for homework. So subnetting is just the process of taking a large network and breaking it up into smaller networks just to make things more manageable for your network environment. So in this problem, we need 20 hosts per subnetwork. So let's say I'm starting with the Class C address 192.15.1.0. That's the network that I have. And I need to break that up to allow for 20 hosts per subnetwork rather than 254 total hosts. So here's how you do it. First, what am I solving for? I'm solving for hosts, okay? And I need at least 20. So I look here at my binary values and I look at my exponential values of 2. So 2 to the what is going to give me greater than or equal to 20. 2 to the 4 gives me 16. 2 to the 5 will give me 32. So 2 to the 5 is going to be my host value. I'll put that right here. 2 to the 5, which equals 32. Okay? All right, so hosts are always represented by off bits. And whenever you're looking at hosts, you're always going to start from the right to the left. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off bits. That means I'm going to actually borrow 1, 2, 3, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So my subnetwork portion is 2 to the 3. Now, if you remember when we were talking about bytes, we said the bytes are made up of 8 bits, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits. So whenever you're subnetting, some of those bits are going to be borrowed for the subnetwork portion, and the rest of the bits will stay in the host portion. However, if you add up your exponential value, 3 plus 5, it should equal 8. So if I have 5 bits off, then that means I'm going to turn 3 bits on. So my new value is 111,000,000,000. So sorry, 5 zeros. All right, so 2 to the 3, let me write that, that equals 8. All right, so let's see. Now we're looking at the magic number. The magic number is represented by the last bit that you turned on. So I turned on my 128, my 64, and my 32. I always start from left to right. So the last bit that I turned on is this bit right here, 32-bit. All right, so a magic number is going to be 32. And then my subnet mask. Well, for a Class C address, your default subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. This byte right here represents the host portion, which is that 0 portion. So it's no longer 255.255.255.0. Now it's going to be 255.255.255, and then we have to add up the values of the bits that we turned on. We turned on the 128, the 64, and then the 32. So 128 plus 64 is 192, plus 32 is 224. So my last octet is going to be 224. So you see how my Class C subnet mask has changed in order to allow for my subnetworks. All right, so let's go ahead and find out what networks do I have available. Well, I'm going to have 8 subnetworks and 32 hosts on that subnetwork. So let's go ahead and list that out. How do I decide where I start? Well, I'm always going to start with my 0 network. So it's going to be the 192.15.1.0 is always where I begin. Then that's where the magic number comes in. Now I'm going to be counting by my magic number in the last octet. So my next network is 192.15.1.32. And then the next network will be 192.15.1.64. 192.15.1.64. 1.96. And you would keep going all the way up until you reach your max value of 255. I'm not going to list them all out here. There's going to be 8 total, so you'll have 8 subnetworks listed. Now my range is determined by all the hosts that fall within the in between the network address and the broadcast address. So my range will be 192.15.1.1 through, I'm going to pause there for a second. Let's first find our broadcast address. The broadcast is the very last possible address before you get to your next network. So my broadcast is going to be 192.15.1.31. So that makes the high end of my range 192.15.1.30. So you'll see I have 30 hosts in my range, 1 network, and 1 broadcast. That gives me this 32 value. So technically, I don't have 32 hosts. I have to subtract my network, my broadcast address. So 32 minus 2 will give me 30 hosts per subnetwork. You'll find that whenever you break things into subnetworks, you always have to subtract 2 from the host value in order to get your actual usable hosts. That accounts for your network address and your broadcast address. So now 192.15.1.32 is a network address. My range would be 192.15.1.33 through 192.15.1.62, 192.15.1.63 would be my broadcast, and 192.15.1.64 is my next network. I'm going to just shorthand this. This will be from 65 to .94, .95 is my broadcast, .96 is my next network. And you just keep going until you have all 8 subnetworks listed. So now, rather than having one network address of 192.15.1.0, I've broken that up into 8 subnetworks that I can use to break up my LAN into multiple smaller LANs. You'll find that helpful when we start learning about VLANs or virtual LANs, just to, I guess, just better organize your hosts. So we'll do a couple other problems so you get the complete idea of subnetting.